Welcome, everybody, to the Redzone Report, brought to you by Monster Energy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for enjoying the show. Please like, comment, subscribe. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It's your man, Izzy, here, and I am here on the Built in Buffalo YouTube, Facebook, and X/Twitter channel to give you guys my take on week 2 of the preseason. It was much better than week 1 of the preseason. At least one side of the ball for the Buffalo Bills looked solid. And while we expected the new look of Josh Allen this week versus last week, we didn't get that. The weather, I guess, was the reason or excuse to some people as to why Josh Allen did not see the field. But here we are. We saw Mitch Trubisky stink up the joint, and we saw Ben DiNucci try. I mean, Ben DiNucci has been in this offensive scheme for 6 days, and, well, you know, he looked like he's been in the system for 6 days, even though he showed some flashes here and there of looking pretty good. And so, with all that being said, there were some points or some things to look at that shined. There were some things to look at that shined, some absolute gems. Mwah. And I'm sure you guys have heard them. If you've watched any other Bills content, I'm going to go over them a little bit, probably in some depth. But man, oh man, am I proud of the things that I saw that were good. And I'm not as concerned about the things that weren't good because of just the fact that Josh Allen didn't play, Terrell Bernard didn't play. But the guys who replaced Terrell Bernard, you know, they played pretty well. They played pretty good. So we're gonna go through that, and we're gonna discuss all that. The bad probably we'll talk about a little bit, but the good is really so good that we got to talk about it, right? And looking at the comments, my man David Highland is what's up, baby? How you doing, man? Welcome back, David. My man Robbie, what's up, Izzy? I'm live at 8:15. Hey, I will be done by then because I'm trying to watch the rest of the preseason games that are today. So I'm gonna have 2 screens dedicated, and because of that, this laptop will be needed for that. But it's okay because an hour is enough time for me. Kim Boomhauer, hey Izzy, what's up, Kim? Good to see you back, buddy. Mitch Trubisky holds on to the ball too long. Yes, he does. He lacks confidence in himself, and he lacks confidence in his first or second read. There are a lot of times those first or second reads were wide open, and he just didn't unleash it. And so it's a problem. My man Daniel Gari's back in the building. Hey, Izzy, how you doing? Hey, how you doing, Daniel? Thank you for being here. See, better than a pick. Yeah, but still. If you're a quarterback and you're thinking I'm gonna throw this is gonna get picked off, then you probably shouldn't play quarterback in the NFL. Like you have to have some level of confidence. And so, not that I'd rather him throw a pick, but I'd rather him have confidence and take a chance here and there. I mean, it'll tell you whether you belong in the NFL or not. And as of right now, I don't know if he does. So we'll see what happens going forward. But man, today's show, man, like you can't watch that game, the first quarter of that game. If you just watch the first quarter of that game, there were shining stars. And the defensive player of that game easily was Greg Rousseau. He played 2 series. Man had 2.5 sacks. Like Greg Rousseau went out there and he was on a mission. He was out there and just beautiful, beautiful display from Greg Rousseau. It's his contract year, so I'm expecting a big year from him. If not, then that contract is going to be real light for him. So we'll see what happens. But Greg Rousseau, man, he looked so good yesterday. He looked outstanding, and I was happy to see him out there and just perform. Greg Rousseau is a guy who's really going to have to be careful when it comes to his injuries, but at the same time, you can't sit there and think about those because that's how you usually get injured. Is, you're not paying attention to the game itself, and you get caught or rolled up on by somebody you weren't expecting to be there. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer were big proponents of that. They always said, if you're out there worried about injuries, that's when you get injured. And so can't worry too much about it. Got to let that ride. But Greg Rousseau, man, he manhandled the right tackle. I mean, he was shoving him right into Russell Wilson's face the whole game. It was a beautiful, beautiful display of power and finesse by Greg Rousseau. He was just so technical. His technique was so good. But Rousseau is just give me more of that. Give me more of that. And jumping back to the comments, X-rays were negative on MVS. That's good. Still don't want him to play. I haven't liked what I've seen from him yet, so it is what it is. Trubisky isn't a good backup. He had Coleman open and missed him. Coleman could have got that ball, but it would have risked injury. And so the bad thing about Trubisky is that when he does throw the ball, he throws his guys into danger. You can't be throwing your guys into danger. You can't throw them into a place where they're going to get wrecked. And a lot of the passes he threw yesterday would have done that. There was one specifically where I watched him throw the ball. It was across the middle. And if dude caught that ball, man, he was going to get lit up. It was going to be bad for him. You can't do that. Like, part of the responsibility of the quarterback is to make sure that your guy doesn't get killed on the other end. Like, their safety is in your hands. Now, I watched the Tom Brady interview a while back, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watched it too. Most of you guys, like me, aren't really fans of Tom Brady as a quarterback. However, he's a great quarterback. He best all time, right? But he was against the rules that protect offensive players. And so in protecting offensive players, what he was talking about is it is not the responsibility of the defense, nor should it be the responsibility of the defense to make sure that you're safe. Your quarterback needs to make sure that you're safe. You need to make sure you're safe, and your quarterback needs to make sure he's safe. It's your responsibility. So if you put yourself in danger, it's on you. And I'm a firm believer in that. I think that Trubisky puts his guys in danger, and it's a recipe for disaster. Let's see. Hey, Izzy, what's up, Scott? Welcome back. See, Trubisky is not good, but what other options is there? I mean, if the backup quarterback goes in for the Bills, it's over anyway. Let's just be real. Let's be real there. If the Bills have to put a backup in there, it's already over. It's a wrap. See, hopefully that foretelling what Rousseau, yes, was absolutely abusing the right tackle. He was. Joey Hatch back in the show. Let's go, baby. Joey, welcome back. See, after Greg is Buffalo Joe. No, I'm saving Buffalo Joe for last because you saved the best for last. That dude had a game. That man had a game. We'll get there. See, Rousseau should see a higher percentage of plays like Oliver did last year. I think he will. He is the starting defensive end that will likely see more time on the field than any other defensive end. Epinesa will see some time, but he's going to be rotating in with probably Von Miller. And that's because they usually play on the left tackle side or the right end side, however you parse that, because the left tackle would be the right end, I guess. But we'll see. See, Groot looked good, but Epinesa needs to step up. Also, yeah, he does need to step up a little bit, but he's been playing fine, just not to the level of what Rousseau has been. And Rousseau's been killing it, dude. Like, he's been killing it. Let's see. Group contract year. Players always ball out in the contract year. I'm expecting a very good year from him. I'm expecting double-digit sacks from him. I'm expecting double-digit sacks. Bills are electric. Focusing on the positives. Rousseau was a stud. Joe Andreessen was a stud. Taron Johnson is playing at an all-pro level again. Deontay Freaking damn, I'm forgetting that first name now. It's not Deontay Hardy. It's freaking Daquan Hardy, playing awesome. Yeah. Flashes in Ray Davis looks like a RB2 for real. Yeah, no, look, he looked like an RB1 if you ask me. He was looking good. Defense looks great. In fact, it does. It really does. But yeah, Greg Rousseau just went out there and he balled out. He put together a complete game. And yeah, I think that he's gonna have a season that's worth remembering, because how else would he end his year, being a contract year? He's hoping for that big money. If he's gonna get that big money, he's gonna have to produce. And I'm here for it. Look, if anybody's not, like that last season he had in college where he had 30 sacks or 16 sacks, whatever, and it was like 30 between him and I forget the guy on the other side of him. He's a Dolphin, but it was pretty outstanding, man. Like I'm just happy that he's on our team, because jeez Louise, and you brought up Taron Johnson, right? Taron Johnson is another guy who is playing at a high level again. Taron Johnson is somebody who really is putting in the work and showing out. Right? Taron Johnson is all pro from last year, second team all pro, but there's only two spots for all pro nickelbacks, right? And so when you're a nickelback and you get all pro, like, you are producing at a high level. Let's see. I think we might have Matt Milano's replacement on our head. We might. I don't know if I'm jumping that far that quickly yet, but we're gonna get there. So did Babbage call the D, or I think Babbage called the defense again. He was in the he was up top. Greg is a big dude. He's like 6'6", 6'7", like 270 pounds. Yeah, he's big. Groot embarrassed Broderick Jones. He doesn't usually play right tackle and had a brace, but Greg played hard. Greg played real hard. Groot just needs to stay healthy, and Taron had a nice tackle. Dude, Taron Johnson tackling Freiermuth by himself is incredible, dude. Pat Freiermuth's a big freaking dude. I'm going to pull him up right now because I have ESPN already pulled up on the screen right back there. So if I pull up the box score, then I go down to receiving, Pittsburgh, Pat Freiermuth, he had one catch, and on that catch, he got tackled by Taron Johnson. This dude is freaking 6'5", 258. He's not a small dude. Like, he's not a giant tight end. But he's big. And that tackle was as clean a tackle as you're going to get from a guy like Taron Johnson, who's like 5'11", 200 pounds, maybe. Like, Taron Johnson is not an imposing size guy. But what he lacks in size, he gains in ferocity. He's 5'11", 192, so he's not even 200 pounds. The ferocity on that kid is amazing. Like, if you're not a Taron Johnson fan, you're not a football fan. I don't care if you're not a Bills fan. I don't like if we were to let him go, like, God forbid, right? If we were to let Taron Johnson go, everybody in the league, not named the Chiefs, would be after him. There are very, very few guys with a nickelback with that level of ferocity, talent, skill, and instinct. Like, Taron Johnson is a monster. Could you close that door? Okay. $70 for remotes. Never mind. All right. But guys, like, it is imperative and necessary for us Bills fans to just appreciate the man that Taron Johnson is. The player that he is just outstanding. So I'm just very happy that he's a Bill, because if he was to hit the free agent market, he would be one of the first corners, not just nickels, but corners off the billing right away. It's amazing how he's able to play as powerful and as tough as he's able to play, and doesn't get hurt often. Every now and then he gets hurt, but not really that often. And I'm just happy he's on our team. Let's see. Taron had a nice tackle. Yes, Taron is a beast. He sure is. See, Matty Glab interviewing Groot was hilarious. The size difference alone made it worth it. It's like, yeah, because he's so tall that like when she stands next to him, she's like at his belly button. It's like, hi. It's like a 6-year-old next to her father, but she's like an adult. He's just a 25-year-old. It's crazy how big that dude is. Taron is being a leader this season. He's being much more than that. He's being a leader and a terrorizer of offenses. Cannot wait to see the regular season how he does it. That's why they paid him. He's the key to them running a nickel-based defense. Correct. Like you don't run a 4-2-5 as your base unless you have a beast nickel. He's got to be able to tackle. If he's not, then you don't run that. So there's that. He has killer instincts. Yes, he does. He does. See, Maddie Glab interviewing Josh was funny. She kept asking him questions after questions. Could tell Josh was trying to watch the game. I know, right? Because look, Josh has as much running on this as anybody else. So yeah. I see Minnesota signing Tannehill. Also saw Dallas is trying to trade Trey Lance. Bills tried to trade him. Bills trade to get him from 49ers. I think you're saying tried to get him from the 49ers. You might be using talk to text, but I got you. I know what you're saying. I don't know if I try and go get Trey Lance. Maybe, I guess, if it's cheap. But if it's not cheap, then no. Like, if it's like a 7th-round pick, yeah, go get him. I mean, Josh is one of the guys who supported him most when he was coming out of North Dakota State. And if he's going to learn from a guy to be a quarterback, the guy's going to be a quarterback who's a lot like himself, 6'5", 240, fast, strong arm. If he's going to learn from anybody, it's going to be Josh Allen. Dak's a good quarterback and fits kind of that mold, but Dak's a more cerebral quarterback, I think. He thinks about his options way more than Josh does. Josh is more instinctive, whereas Dak is really structurally sound. So, like, Josh gets out of structure a lot, and that's more of the Trey Lance mold. Trey Lance is going to be a guy who's going to need to be able to improvise, and the best improvisational quarterback in the NFL is Josh Allen, in my opinion. Like, he's just going to be able to move around and see without being within the structure. I mean, Josh plays it with outside of structure, I'd say at least 50% of the time. Whereas Dak is in structure. Like, the route concept has to be there. It has to work. If it doesn't, then he fails, which is why when they play strong defenses with good corners, the Cowboys don't really do so well because Dak's limited to playing within the structure of the offense. And Josh Allen isn't limited by that. But sometimes that leads to Josh's mistakes when he has them. So Josh isn't a perfect quarterback by any means or any stretch of the imagination. But when the offense breaks down, Josh Allen is capable of pushing beyond that structure. He's able to play that backyard football where Dak struggles in that. And so there's just the physical abilities of both Dak and Josh are similar, but Dak just mentally is in a different place than Josh. I don't want to say he's in a worse place because he threw 31 touchdowns and had an awesome year this past year. Like, I don't want to diminish Dak Prescott. He's an excellent quarterback. But when you get to the playoffs, if you watch the teams that do well in the playoffs, the Bills do well in the playoffs. The offense does, at least, right? Josh Allen in the playoffs is able to make magic happen. Patrick Mahomes is able to make magic happen. Brock Purdy has been able to make magic happen. Jalen Hurts has been able to make magic happen. Jared Goff was able to make magic happen. Like, those guys have just been able to take what's in front of them, see it's not working, and then work around it. Dak Prescott has not given the Cowboys that. And that, I think, is what he's lacking in the playoffs. And this is turning to me like talking about the Cowboys, even though I freaking hate the Cowboys. But if I was to break down the players and somebody who's going to be able to help a certain player grow into their NFL potential, you want to get a guy who's as close to them as possible. And so if you were to bring the Trey Lance, I think Josh is the perfect guy to train him to be himself, if that makes sense to you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and back up the quarterback talk because they're not in this conversation about this game, but went on a little tangent there. I think it was super necessary. Let's see. In the words of Jorge Masvidal, super necessary. See, if I didn't know better, Izzy, it looks like you have shadow people in your house. No, my buddy is here. He crossed in front of the light. But yeah, no, that's my buddy Jesse. He's playing NCAA while I do the show. Luckily, he's capable of being quiet. See, the backup QB situation isn't good. I don't think many teams have a good backup QB situation. See, Dorian Williams got good practice in his rookie year after Matt Milano went down. It is invaluable experience. And you know what? Going to Dorian Williams, boom, he is actually my next player on the list. Dorian Williams is my next player on the list. Dorian Williams, last year, getting into the playbook and learning the complexities of it, he's still biting on play action quite a bit, but other than that, like, still a heat-seeking missile. And in this game, I think he fixed some of the mistakes he was doing. He didn't fix all of them, but he was pretty damn good in this game. Dorian Williams was playing much better this week than he did last week. Also, second preseason game. Last week was the first preseason game. First time against another team. Also, Caleb Williams looks outstanding. Caleb Williams looks really freaking good. And you have a better running back situation, in my opinion, with the Bears. With he just left the Eagles and went to Swift. DeAndre Swift. Thank you, buddy. DeAndre Swift. He's a much faster, dangerous back if he gets in the open space than Najee Harris. In the hole and hitting you head up, Najee is way more dangerous. But Dorian Williams, man, he's outstanding tackler, very good in space, and much better this week. I don't have a lot to say about him, but if you look at the Buffalo Bills tackling statistics this week, let's see, let's pull him up. Dorian, where you at, big guy? He only had one tackle, and it was a solo tackle, and it was a nice tackle. Everything else, he was out there sealing the edge, and he did his job. He played his role. And so, not a lot to say about him, but I like the way Dorian Williams played this week. I think Ray Davis has potential to be better than Cook and be starting running back. You might not be wrong about that. We'll talk about that too. Don't get it twisted. Oh, is your buddy a Bills fan? He is really not an NFL fan. He leans Cowboys, but since being a friend of mine, he cheers for the Bills. Right? Like he likes the Bills. He doesn't, but he's not really a Cowboys fan. He's from Fort Worth, Dallas area, closer to Fort Worth. He's from Rockwall, Texas. But he served in the military with me, and I've always been a diehard Bills fan. They got the Buffalo Bills mobile out in the driveway. Like, I literally have a car in the driveway that is painted like a Bills helmet. It's not the shape of a Bills helmet, obviously, but it's painted like a Bills helmet. And I'm going to tell you what, like, he's come around to the Bills. I'm going to have to pull that picture up now that I just said it. It's an 05 Saturn Redline. I bought that car brand new. I still have it. It's only got like 80,000 miles on it, but it needs a part. Let's see. Yeah, the screen's shining on it. I'm gonna do you one better. I got you guys. Here we go. But yeah, he's not a Bills fan, but he's a good friend of mine. He's probably my best friend. Well, he's my best friend. Definitely best living friend. Let's see. StreamYard. You guys got to see this now that I've mentioned it. EUI JSSY 67 golf. Boom. Let's put it into my StreamYard here on my phone, and then I can share the picture, you guys. Boop. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and lower that volume. All right, let's see more. Oh, dang it. Anyway, okay, we'll carry out the show, and I'll get that in a minute. All right, Williams is going to be a beast for us. Just give him a little more time. Look, some of these players, they take time to develop, right? They take time to develop, and they require that you just hold out, right? You got to wait. They got to develop. They take time. Remember, Eric Moles took a while to develop. It is what it is. Let's see. I'm not seeing a share option here, so that's not going to work. It's okay. I'll just send a picture of it to one of my chats here. $1 Million Baby. I've been playing Madden a lot, the new Madden. The song's in there. And I've been enjoying myself. Come on, chats. Oh, Lord. I have a lot of pictures. All right. See, I like the idea the Bills had a lot less penalties. They did. That's a very big key to this game, too. Very big key to this game was decreasing penalties. See, didn't really get a good look at Dorian in coverage. So in coverage, he looked better. Wasn't a lot to see, though. So you didn't get a good look at him. There's a reason for that. There wasn't a lot to see. The freaking the Steelers didn't really get to throw a lot. Russell Wilson wasn't the rest a lot of the time that he was there, and the other guy, freaking slipping his name. I have it right here. Justin Fields did not look much better. So yeah, he had a good tackle taken away on a penalty. Miss Nancy, welcome back. Let's see. Thank you both for your service. I appreciate it, buddy. I'm gonna focus more on the show now. I'll find the card thing at the end of the show if you guys want to wait for it. What up, Izzy? Go Bills! Let's go, Chris. Welcome back. We will forgive him not being a Bills fan. Hey man, it's cool, man. He plays with the Bills sometimes in Madden, especially last year's Madden. We had Diggs and all them. He got pretty good. See, and we thank you both for your service. Thank you, Miss Nancy, again. See, Joe Andreessen, I know is misspelled. I know I misspelled his last name. Yes, Andreessen, not Anderson, but you're close enough. Has outplayed Dorian Williams and deserves to start over him. Ooh, we'll see. Once Williams stopped making small errors in coverage, he's going to be good. Yes. So good evening, Mafia and Izzy. Miss Sandra, welcome back. Wilson was running for his life. Wilson and freaking Fields were both running for their lives, and they only two quarterbacks that played yesterday for them. Granted, only Trubisky and DiNucci played for us, but if you look at them, they all played on the same level. Like DiNucci was 3 of 5, Mitchell Trubisky was 9 of 13, Justin Fields was 11 of 17, Russell Wilson was 8 of 10. It was very uninspiring for all the quarterbacks who played yesterday in that game. It was miserable. Sandra King, hey young lady. Oh, some crowd talk. See, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Totally off on evaluating Dorian. Joe Andreessen is way better and showed it last night. Which guy? Me? Because I like Dorian, and I think Andreessen had one hell of a night, but I don't think one game is enough to evaluate it on. Now, if he comes out here next week and puts on another smoke show, I don't disagree. But also, let's look at this. Joe Andreessen was playing middle linebacker, and Dorian was playing Will. They are pretty fundamentally interchangeable. Now, here's the question, Tom. Here's a question. He might make a few trades. I see some trades coming because he's going to want to stock up some draft picks. So, if theoretically you were to keep Andreessen on the roster, right? Let's say because Milano's out, he earns a starting role, right? Because he was better than Dorian Williams yesterday. Yes, he was. He was better than Deion Jones yesterday. Yes, he was. He was better than any linebacker on the field for us yesterday. Any linebacker out there. He played better than all of them. No doubt about it. Like anybody who would argue that point didn't watch the game. Do you put Andreessen at middle linebacker and then have Terrell Bernard play the will, or do you put Andreessen out at the will, where we haven't seen him yet, and put Terrell Bernard at Mike? That's the question. Because if his showing yesterday told me anything, he's an excellent middle linebacker. That's the question to me. If he was to win a starting job because of the missing Matt Milano piece, does Joe Andreessen take over at middle linebacker and Terrell Bernard move out to outside linebacker? Or does he remain outside or does Terrell Bernard remain inside and Joe Andreessen move outside? That's an interesting idea. Again, those positions are supposed to be interchangeable for the Bills, so we'll see what happens. Let's see. Less than a week. Let's go. I cannot wait for this preseason to be over so the regular season can come and we can see what these Bills are about to be about. I'm very, very happy to see what this team is going to be like. All right. How was Andreessen in coverage? He was excellent in coverage. He didn't have any interceptions or anything, but he didn't get any balls really thrown his way like that because he was covering the tight ends down across the middle. He was outstanding. See, Joey Hatch, 3 or 4 days tops. Okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I like Kingsley Jonathan's sack towards the end of the game. So Kingsley Jonathan's been flashing, but he's been flashing against the threes. Javon Solomon played yesterday pretty well against the twos. Like he looked pretty good against the twos yesterday and against the threes. But Kingsley Jonathan against the threes has been looking very, very good. The defensive end room is going to be interesting because if we keep 5, then we know the top 3 are already Miller, Groot, at Panessa, and then Smoot. So there's one more spot, maybe. And so Javon Solomon probably my favorite guy. See, I think you did pretty good company and learning a complicated playbook in the not many days. Are you talking about DiNucci? See, Bernard at will. Okay, so you think that Bernard would move out to will linebacker and Andreessen would be the middle guy. Okay. That's what I would think. It's because I've seen him at middle. I know that Bernard can play both. I know that Bernard's got the speed to play the will as well. Not that Andreessen doesn't, because he's been playing with some really good speed. And he's got really good hands. Like his hands against offensive linemen yesterday was amazing. We'll get into that later. Joey Hatch, Sean might play Andreessen instead of Bernard for safety reasons. I think so. I think that'll be the thing. It's going to give Andreessen a real shot at the 53. See, to the right or left. Okay. Are you going to do a final 53-man roster? That'll be next week after the 3rd preseason game. See, Andreessen has been placed at middle linebacker and practiced there. He doesn't have enough experience to switch him to outside linebacker. He's trying to make the team as Bernard's backup. Now, let's say that Bernard, they shift him to the outside. You can never know. Bernard can play both. Yes, you were talking about DiNucci. Okay. Izzy, we're talking about DiNucci. Misspelled. How many days that he like 6 days? I think he was signed like Tuesday or Wednesday. I think the game was on Saturday. That's like 4 or 5 days. Jesus, like he probably had a real watered down version of the playbook, which is what we're running now anyway. So, still. Pump the brakes. Andreessen is not a starter come regular season. Okay. So you're saying that Terrell Bernard and Dorian Williams will be the starters. As of right now, I don't see Andreessen as a starter. I don't disagree with you, Roy Collins. I think that right now it's Dorian Williams and Terrell Bernard. But if Andreessen keeps doing what he's doing, as of right now, I think he's nothing less than a practice squad player. He's at least a practice squad guy. Well, here's the thing. If they cut him, some other team's going to grab him. Somebody's going to grab him. The team, he's put on tape now that he's worthy of being on an NFL roster as of right now. He's too green, has a lot to learn. I mean, so is every rookie. Every rookie's too green. See, or the safety that they just drafted could just transition him into outside linebacker. It's still possible potential. He's too small. He's not big enough. He's only 200 pounds. See, predicting Bernard going to be all pro this year. I love that. Andreessen is 6'1", 240 pounds. So he's like the exact same size as Tyrell Dodson, who last year played outside linebacker for us. That's exactly what I was saying. That someone's going to poach him. See, why is it just preseason when discussing Keon's struggles, but Andreessen? Keon Coleman's here's the reason why. Keon Coleman's success directly is linked to the quarterback, right? He literally depends on the quarterback to deliver the ball in the right place at the right time. It's a different dynamic with the wide receiver, right? Because his position is a secondary position, as in he has to run the route, but then the quarterback has to deliver him the ball where he can catch it. Andreessen, his instincts are all he's got, right? He doesn't have somebody else he's depending on except for the defensive lineman in front of him to do their job, but they're not passing him the ball. They're not dictating what he does. His instincts have to dictate what he does. So it's different for evaluating a linebacker and a wide receiver in the preseason. It's very different. See, and Joe reminds me a little bit of Matt Milano, but young. He reminds me of kind of Matt Milano, but the way he plays reminds me of a younger Shaq Thompson. I'll just put that there. He to me looks like what Bale Inspector could be if Bale Inspector didn't keep getting hurt. Let's see. The thing that is compelling is number 44 started and did what he did against ones. Yes, he did. That says a lot about him. Yeah. Preseason will get lost. I don't think he will. He was on national TV. That was the only game played at that time. He put up 12 tackles. He was the only guy, and all the media is talking about him. I don't think so. We are not. This is not that year. This is 2024, baby. Everybody sees everything. Someone is going to poach him if we cut him. That's a no-brainer. See, Coleman's biggest skill is supposed to be the ability to catch anything that's thrown at him. That's true, but it's the preseason. He's not going to go out there and get injured to catch a ball in a game that doesn't matter, right? When Trubisky threw him that ball in the end zone, he pulled away from that ball. He gator chomped it, right? So that way he wouldn't stick his arms out and get hit in the arms, which would then potentially injure him. That was the big criticism on that, is that he pulled a Gabe Davis to try to chomp it. That's not normally how he catches balls. He's usually a snatcher. He goes out there, he snatches the ball, uses quick hands, and I don't think he was prepared to get hurt for that ball. And good on him. Now, come regular season, I expect him to, be willing to get hurt for that ball. But Trubisky didn't put the ball in a good spot in any of the 3 passes in the end zone that he threw to Keon Coleman. So there's that. Okay, so let's go back to my players list here. The next player on the list is running back Ray Davis. Ray Davis had himself a game, baby. Ray Davis had himself a freaking game. Like the first week against the Bears, like the offense was pitiful. James Cook and Ray Davis didn't look good at all. This game, James Cook, 6 carries, 25 yards, outstanding. Ray Davis, 8 carries, 58 yards, 7.3 yards per carry, and they took him out before he could score the freaking touchdown. You got to let your boys score. Come on now. You got to let your boys score. I'm telling you. I'm going to hold you to that. I expect you are an honorable man from what I know, Roy Collins. I have not met you personally, but man, I'm telling you, I'll hold you to that. But Ray Davis, man, I'm telling you, you got to let your boys score. Ray Davis is out there balling, man. He was running people over. He was getting to the edge and stiff-arming people. He was, a running back to my own heart because I'm 5'9", 230, right? He's 5'8", 215, 210, and he was out there looking like just like a James Conner with speed. Like he was just out there bowling people over. He was making people miss. Maybe not entirely miss. He was making them partially miss and bouncing off of them. Like it was a thing of beauty to me. And people were in the chat today saying Ray Davis potentially could unask James Cook as a starter. I think you might be right. That boy's got some skills, and I loved seeing it. I was like, yo, we need somebody to shine on offense today, man. We need somebody to come out here on offense and shine. And Ray Davis went out there and did it, man. I'm so happy and proud for that guy. He's so well and clear spoken. Like he's not from like the depths of Alabama or something like that. He's from San Francisco, so very clear speech from him is expected. You know, one of the most clear speaking parts of the country, along with Western New York. Everybody can understand everybody from Western New York. But I'm telling you, man, like he just went out there and performed. Ray Davis, 8 carries, 58 yards, bowling people over, laying a hammer on guys, wearing out the defensive line, wearing out the linebackers. DBs didn't have a chance. And then they didn't let my man score a touchdown, baby. Come on, man. Come on, man. You got to let your boy live. You got to let him live. You got to let him eat. You got to let him cook. Come on, man. Ray Davis. That's my dude right there. I loved how you played yesterday. And so I'm going to get off this Ray Davis high horse because, man, I loved it. And Air Allen, welcome back. I'm late, but I'm here. Hey, man, go back and watch the show, man. There was some things that were worth missing, like me looking for the picture of my car. And there were some other things that, maybe you can enjoy. But I'm telling you, man, that Ray Davis was a ray of sunshine. And I'm just happy that he went out there and did what he was supposed to do because he made me happy yesterday. Just the way he played. I was just like, there's hope for this running game if James Cook lays a freaking egg. And I don't think he will. I think James Cook's going to do just fine. But I'm telling you, if James Cook laid a freaking egg this season, you have a guy in Ray Davis who just put tape out there that he can carry the ball. He can carry this offense if need be. I'm just happy about all that. Let me see. Looking for something else. All right. Next player, Ray Davis, man. That dude had me pumped up. So Nickelback, Daquan Hardy, man. This guy continues to shine. Daquan Hardy, that one punt yesterday where he caught it and it was short again, like it was too close to the goal line. He made something of it. And so I think that he's out there returning them, not worried about the end zone, but he's trying to make a name just on the fact that he's trying to return the ball. He's trying to get a return. It's the preseason, win, lose, or tie. No one cares. The game doesn't matter. The rep matters. And I think that he's going out there to try and win the rep. And with trying to win the rep, he's just taking the chance. Yes. But Daquan Hardy's out there. He's trying to win the rep because of the fact that he's the running back, not the running back, the second nickelback on the team, if you ask me. And he's also the hopeful return man. And so putting out tape out there that he can do both, I think that Daquan Hardy is the guy who's going to go out there and just try and win that job. Again, the fact that the end zone's there and he didn't call a fair catch when he's that close to the end zone doesn't matter as much as the rep does right now because it's the preseason, right? The game doesn't actually matter. The rep does. What counts is how he handles that particular rep. And so I'm cool. I'm cool with the fact that he's taking those punts so close to the goal line. The fair catch one last week wasn't cool, but the fact that if he's going to do it, you better run the damn ball. Right? If the rep isn't worth it, if you're not going to use that rep to put film out, then it doesn't matter. But this week when he was doing it, I'm okay with that. So not sure if everyone knows Ray Davis' story. Go check it out. Most of us probably do. He was homeless, and he gave up his spot in a potential homeless shelter so that way his sibling could go. He stayed out on the street. I mean, his story is remarkable, and it's a feel-good story. So remember, we made sure we had him in a lot of mocks. Yes, we did. I had a ton of mocks with Ray Davis. I also had a ton of mocks with not Cole Bishop, not Keon Coleman. I'm forgetting which rookie. I know last year I had a bunch of them with Dorian Williams. I had a bunch of Dorian Williams in my drafts. See, from homeless to NFL player, Ray Davis is a good story. It's a beautiful story. If Cook keeps shopping the ball, Davis is taking his spot. Agreed. If I'm correct, was Child living in someone's basement or a hospital basement? I don't know where he was, but I knew he was homeless. And so wherever he was staying, it wasn't a house. And it wasn't with a family. It was by himself. So in my opinion, Ty Johnson might be good for kick returns. So I think Ty Johnson will be the second guy back there with Hardy, and we'll see what happens there. Javon Solomon was pretty good yesterday. He was good at sealing the edge. Javon Solomon was good at, just he was just very good overall playing defense yesterday. He tackled pretty well. Let me pull up his stats. So he had 3 tackles. One of them was a solo tackle, and he had 4 QB hits. So yeah, he was getting back there. He was playing outstanding football. So you think Daquan will be back up to Taron? I do. I think he'll be the Taron Johnson direct backup. Cam Lewis is going to be that floater. But you'll see him on the field. I think you'll see plenty of Cam Lewis, but mostly on those plays and possessions where you have to have a lot of secondary out there because it's, 3rd and 9 and they're playing, 4 receivers or 5 receivers. You'll see Cam Lewis a lot in those situations, but Daquan Hardy is undeniable at this point. He's been playing so good. All right. Next guy, man of the hour, Joe Andreessen. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. Joe Andreessen from Lancaster High School. Apparently he's a native of Depew, New York, and that's, right in the Buffalo, Lancaster area. Went to Lancaster. Went to the University of Buffalo, played well for the Bulls, got a tryout with the Buffalo Bills. The Bills liked what they saw, and apparently that's starting to translate into the training camp and preseason now. See, he let his siblings go into foster care so they could stay together. He survived as best he could. Now he's in the NFL. Gotta respect him. He survived as best he could. If this is the best he could, it was really good. Less than his best would have been fine, probably. But he's in the NFL now. Man, listen, that's awesome. But Joe Andreessen had a tryout with the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills liked what they saw. They brought him onto the team, made a spot for him on the 90-man roster. And he has slowly climbed his way up the depth chart so much that he started this week. But Terrell Bernard not playing and Matt Milano being out, that makes him the 4th linebacker if you read into it. But if you want to read into it, he's the 4th linebacker, right? Dorian Williams was the guy playing last week with Terrell Bernard. And now that Matt Milano's injured, Terrell Bernard didn't play. The first 2 guys out there, Joe Andreessen, Dorian Williams. Which to me tells me that he leapfrogged Deion Jones, which a lot of people had on the roster bubble. And so Buffalo Joe, as John Robert points out that Josh Allen called him Buffalo Joe, or the Lancaster legend, Joe Andreessen. And he kind of reminds me of this other linebacker we had back in the day from Stanford. I think his name was AJ Shipley or something like that. I'm forgetting what his name. He retired after 1 year. He was undrafted. He played outstanding. He was an undersized linebacker. And after that year, because of concussions, he retired. Then he came back out of retirement to play in the XFL. I forget his name, but he was a good linebacker from Stanford, and then he retired. And we had so much hope for that kid, and then he retired on us. But it happens. But he reminds me of that guy, just instincts and like his motor doesn't stop. He played the whole game. He played the whole game until the 4th quarter. 12 tackles, 7 of them solo, 2 tackles for a loss, including on a QB run by freaking Justin Fields, where he, in the open field, tackled a quarterback who was one of the best at running in the open field. This guy played with his hair on fire, as they say, Not really saying I like to use, but the heck with it. I'll steal it for right now. Joe Andreessen went out there and played outstanding ball. And anyone who would say otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. The film speaks for itself. Joe Andreessen did his thing. He was going up against guards as Rousseau was pushing Broderick Jones into freaking Russell Wilson's lap. And it's a screenplay. So that's one thing. Andreessen's taking on a guard one-on-one at 230, 240 pounds tops. This guard is 300 plus pounds. He gets his hands fully extended. He's able to break off the guard and make the tackle on the screen. This guy is playing like no other right now on this team. And when I say like no other, it's because you're not seeing a lot of Terrell Bernard and you're not seeing a lot of Matt Milano. You're seeing a lot more Dorian Williams. We're seeing Joe Andreessen. We're seeing Deion Jones. But I'm telling you, like, the kid's playing good. He's doing well for himself. So I want to see more of him next week. I think if he goes out there and he balls out again next week, he's going to get a roster spot. Right now, too soon. One good game. Doesn't matter that much. But it does get your attention. It does get your attention. Eduardo Garcia. He played very outstanding. Eduardo Garcia. Let's go. See, Fax, my Bill's sister. We're talking to Sandra. There we go. See, Andreessen is from my city. It's a big effing deal to grow up a fan of the Bills and now playing for them. Look, dude, I would play for the veteran minimum to play for the Bills if I was good. If I was good, I'll take the veteran minimum just because I don't care about other teams enough to play for them. There are other teams I would play for if the Bills wouldn't have me, like the Niners or the Panthers, because I live in North Carolina and I always grew up liking the Niners. Granted, I'm not a fan, particularly, but I do like those teams. But yeah, it's a big deal. I'm from Rochester, it'd be a huge deal. If you see the film breakdown, which I did, I watched Cover One. So to my guy over there, the owner of Cover One, his name is skipping my mind, but I'm not going to rack my brain trying to figure it out. He did a breakdown of it, and yeah, I saw that. Joe Andreessen was a way bigger man, was trying to block him, and he still sealed the edge and got the tackle. Yeah, he was able to get off that guard and make the tackle. And the running back was trying to stiff arm him too, and he couldn't get off of him. Joe Andreessen was impressive. He was. On the field's open field tackle, I liked how Andreessen didn't go for the pump fake. He just closed the gap and brought him down. Look, if Justin Fields pump fakes me, I'm not worried about it, right? Because he's not exactly the best passer in the NFL, so I don't mean to take anything away from Joe Andreessen on that one, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to not bite on the pump fake. Some players would. Some players would jump up in the air, but that gives Justin Fields the ability to get around you. No, not Joe Andreessen. He knew what the assignment was, and he lit him up, took out his legs. You can't get past me if you don't have legs under you, and I love that's how he tackles too. He's a very intentional and intelligent tackler. He gets under you. He gets under your legs. Eric Turner, I'm pretty sure that's him. Yeah, Eric Turner from Cover One. Very knowledgeable guy. Very good breaking down film. I can break down film pretty decently. I'm not near that guy's level. That guy's awesome at breaking down film. And Greg from Cover One too. Like he's really good at the contract stuff. I'm pretty good at it. He's outstanding at it. Like he knows way more about that stuff than I do. I'm a jack of all trades, baby. I'm not a master of any of these things, but I think I do pretty good for myself. So I hope I'm worth listening to. You guys are here, so I guess I am worth listening to. And thank you guys for being here. The show's almost over, but yeah. Next week it'll probably be a bunch of scrubs playing, and Andreessen better look good. Like if he started this week and he was in there with the starters, he did have the starting defensive line in front of him. He did have the starting secondary out there with him. Next week will probably be the last chance we get to see Allen. I don't know how this preseason format's going with the starters now. When it was 4 preseason games, you knew that week 3 was the dress rehearsal. Week 4 was, nothing much. It was like, all the guys, trying to make a final impression. Right now, I don't know if I see Andreessen, having to make as big an impact, but I think that he's going to play well. His instincts are apparent to me. So Maybe we'll see, but we'll see. Let's see. Very impressive. I agree. Number 44 is a great story for the city of Buffalo. I am a bit older and grew up in Jamestown. Shane Conlon and Frewsburg was my Joe Andreessen. Oh, snap. Okay. Good job, Joe. Just keep stacking up good days and letting it take care of itself. That's the way you do it right there. That's the way you do it. And so I think that Joe Andreessen has a good shot at making this roster. So I think that, look, since Kyrie Elam's, changed to his number 5 and we've got this new DBs coach, he's played a lot better. He's played a lot better. If there's an injury, I'm fine with Kyrie Elam. I'm more than fine with him. If something happened and they got the right offer for Douglas and they traded him, I wouldn't be that mad at it. I would be upset, but I wouldn't be that mad at it just because Elam's been playing so well. So I like Kyrie Elam and like what he's doing right now. Jones isn't making this team. I don't think he is now either. I think he just got leapfrogged by Andreessen, and that's the nail in the coffin there. Could stash him on the practice squad, but we'll see. If he doesn't make the team, though, you never know if he retires, though. It could happen. All right. All right, guys. So that's going to be the close of the show there. Joe Andreessen is the final player on my list of guys who were notable and they shined. And we talked about him a lot more than I intended to, but guys that shined today, or yesterday, excuse me. Joe Andreessen, obviously. Greg Rousseau put on a show. Taron Johnson making it look easy out there, showing his all-pro caliber play. Dorian Williams showing some improvement in instinctive play. He didn't bite on the play actions as bad this past week. Ray Davis showing us that we have a running back that can take over if James Cook doesn't pan out. And then Daquan Hardy putting out good reps. I'm just happy that the Buffalo Bills are doing what they're doing. But guys, that is my show today. God bless. Go Bills. I see the comment, Gore Jr. He looked pretty good yesterday. I'll say his stats real quick. Frank Gore Jr. 841, so 5.1 per carry. It was against the threes, but it is what it is. Oh, and I did tell you guys that I would show you guys the car. There's the car. The Bills Mobile. And so I've had that for a while now. I bought that car brand new in 2005, and I still have it. Got to do some repairs on it, but yeah, that is the ride. But guys, it has been my pleasure. You guys have a great rest of your day, and go Bills.